All right, guys, we have goals that we're going after. We have things that we're chasing, things that we want to be successful at and be great at. There's nothing that stops that pathway more than just giving up. It takes persistence, which is what we're talking about. That's the mindset programming for this week, is being persistent. You have something that you're doing. You have something in your life that you want to be better at. I know you do. We all do. We all have these targets and these goals that we're going after. There's so many quotes out there about the value and characteristic of persistence for a reason. One of my favorites is that a river cuts through rock, not because of its power, but because of its persistence. The constant, subtle pressure over time will cut through anything. There's another quote out there that says there's nothing more common than men with talent that aren't successful, right? You can have all the talent in the world. You can be great at a lot of different things. But if you don't apply that persistently to what you're actually trying to accomplish to be successful, guess how far you're going to get? Persistence is such an important value. We need to be able to understand it, identify it, and then define it. First of all, let's define persistence. Defining persistence is like the beginning of that is a commitment. It's a commitment to staying engaged with something, with a goal, with a task, with a mission. There needs to be pressure applied to that. There needs to be energy applied to that. I'm sure everybody's heard the term, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. I use that a lot because, if somebody is constant at reaching out to you, texting you, emailing you, calling you, and they're persistent enough, eventually you're going to give in or be able to capture their attention enough to be able to give them what they need. So understanding that, that's persistence. Persistence is the energy you're putting somewhere constantly without giving up. One thing about persistence is that if we don't ever fully commit to something, if we don't ever fully engage with something that we believe in that's in our heart that we're going after, if we pour ourselves into something, and then we only give half the pressure and we only show up half the time, we're not ever really going to find out what we were truly capable of. And believe me, I know how hard and difficult it can get. Whether it's physical, whether it's mental, or whether it's spiritual. It can get brutal, and you can be down on your knees and be getting your ass kicked and be like, is this the right path? Am I going in the right direction? And at the end of the day, if it's in your heart and it's on your mind and you truly, fully believe in what you're doing, you have to keep taking one more step. That's why I talk about the will to fight. The will to fight absolutely is an essential element in being persistent, especially when these goals get tough and when life gets tough. If you have something that you're responsible for or a duty or something that you're going after, persistence is key. You have to be able to engage the will to fight to show up again and again and again. Be persistent and then keep moving forward. We say that all the time. Showing up's the first step. Committing to it's the second. But being persistent over a long period of time can get really challenging. And it's up to you guys to remember that why, to dig deep. If you're not being persistent enough about something, you've got to go connect that persistence with something that you're doing. You've got to connect that persistence with something that you believe in with all of your heart. That will make sure that you show up again and again and again. Believe me. It's riddled throughout Scripture as well. Scripture highlights again how much we're being called to be persistent in everything that we do. Galatians, let us not grow weary in doing good, for in due season we will reap if we don't give up. I love the word if in the Bible, right? It's all these things if we don't give up. And that not giving up is not even an option. We must stay persistent. Thessalonians 5:17, pray without ceasing. We always hear that all the time. I'm sure all of us could be better at that. Pray without ceasing, constantly in everything that you do. Every movement that you make right now, am I living this out? Am I prayerfully going through this talk with you guys in a positive and meaningful way to be able to glorify God and what He's put me on this earth to do? Are you doing that in your daily tasks, what your job is, what your duty is? And then last is Luke 11:9-10. It says, ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and it will be opened. It tells you you have to do those things in order to get what you're looking for. If you don't knock, guess what? Nobody's going to open. If you don't look for it, you're not going to find it. You've got to be persistent at all these things that you're going for. So if you're looking for answers, ask. Be persistent about asking, and don't give up in everything that you do. Remember, set your mind on this week. This is this week's mindset programming. Apply it to everything. Be persistent. Reconfirm and recommit to what your goals are right now. Look in front of you and say, what is the number one thing that's meaningful to me? And am I being persistent enough about that? Am I doing it in the morning? Am I doing it in midday? Am I doing it in the afternoon? Am I doing it through my workout? Am I being persistent in what I set out to do? Apply that every second, every rep this week. And when you get to Sunday, take some time to reflect on if you actually implemented it well enough and what you could do to be better. That's this week's mindset programming. We'll see you on the next one, guys. Armor up.